yeah, we'll go ahead and jump right in. Before we jump into all of the intense amount of information that we'll be dumping on you all today, we'll start off with some base introductions. So we'll start off with the lovely Jihan. Please feel free. Oh, you can't hear me?
Okay, now
No, I
I
need to
can.
unmute her. There we
I
go.
couldn't unmute.
That's right. Okay, yeah, we need
So
to give you a host.
technology.
Got you,
All
got
right,
you.
hey guys, I am Jihan. I am NASEF's Esports Education Specialist, and I love technology, even when we have technical issues. So I am glad that you all are here to join us. We are here to share amazing information so you all can know about our global fellowship program, but more and likely so that you can get to know us and see what we do as an organization. So I'm going to pass the mic to James.
Hi there, I'm James Wood. I'm the NASEF Scholastic Tournament Administrator. I see a few familiar faces here that are part of my main role, which is operating the CIF Esports Initiative out here in California. Other than that, Jihan and I are co-facilitating the Scholastic Fellows Program. So hello and welcome.
Great. Thanks, everyone. And my name is Joel Batak. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for NASEF and USCF, and then also helping direct all of the lovely community in our Scholastic Fellow Program. So we'll kind of start off with some basic intro. We see some familiar faces, so this is a little bit of a refresh for you all. NASEF is a global nonprofit, and really we help support various schools, community-based organizations, in really helping develop both their capacity and community around leveraging esports and gaming as a way to engage youth through career pathways and workforce development. So you can see our vision and mission statement here. And then we are part of a small and mighty team. You can see the beautiful faces and really the diversity that exists amongst our team. To really help support everyone that we serve in all of the various communities around the globe. And all of us are coming from backgrounds in education, nonprofits, esports, industry, and we're really all committed to helping support young people and really finding their purpose and passions through the lens of esports and gaming. Obviously, we got to give a quick shout out to all of our partners and sponsors. You can see that long list of folks that have helped supported us and the communities we serve. And then really quickly, just kind of a background. We started initially in 2017, 2018 with a pilot of 25 high schools, and that's now scaled to over 8,000 plus members and clubs with close to, really approximated because we don't collect student data, around 320,000 students around the world. And you can see 70 plus countries for sure. A lot of our initiatives are really accomplished through our affiliates. And so you can see we now have about 25 different US-based affiliates and then over 32, and it continues to grow, global affiliates around the world. And then the one thing to point out as well is given our relationship and our growing partnership with IESF, which is the International Esports Federation, we help support all of their education initiatives and all of their member federations in really leveraging NASEF's frameworks, tools, and resources to build out these really unique curricular and educational pathways for young people and players and athletes as well. And so when we talk about pathways, you can really see that, we started in high school, but that's now expanded to really be inclusive of serving elementary, middle school, high school, right, collegiate university or career technical, as well as helping develop that workforce development pathway. And this is really the ecosystem that we're trying to build. And ultimately, this is the centerpiece for everything that we do. And we call it our esports ecosystem. You can see the really famous people on the bottom of that list there that have helped support the development of all of the research, as well as all of the curricular toolkits that we put out there. And it's all based on this idea that esports and gaming is more than just the players in the games. There exists an entire world of work and career pathways within each of these. And if you're a CTE or career technical education specialist, you'll also note that many of these pathways already align to pre-existing CTE pathways as well. So that was very intentional. And so all of our clubs, programs are really supporting not just the players and teams, but ultimately everyone that really is interested in exploring all of the opportunities that exist within the esports ecosystem. All right, so a quick little breakdown of what we're hoping to accomplish today. Obviously, that was just kind of the quick overview on NASEF. If you want to learn more, you can definitely check out more of our resources on our website, which I'm sure you've already checked out. But ultimately, we're going to be going through the Scholastic Fellow Program, a little bit about the history, kind of where we started there, what the timeline of the application, as well as the acceptance or the selection process looks like. And then really going through some of the benefits, the roles, the responsibilities, as well as some of the program milestones for the program. And then I'm going to quickly pass it over to James here in a second. But at a high level, ultimately what the Scholastic Fellow Program is a professional learning community or a community of practice. If you've been part of professional learning communities before, it's really about creating this community that's supportive of each other. And we do that through scaffolds, right? Through our instructional coaches to be able to support you as a Scholastic Fellow in being successful in whatever initiative around esports and gaming and education you're trying to accomplish. And that pathway you can see here for anyone that's interested is more than just being a fellow. You can decide if you're interested to apply to become a Scholastic mentor in the second year, which many of our fellows have continued to do. And then after you're a mentor, you can choose to opt in as a community leader, which are essentially our official trainer of trainers for NASEF, as well as the NASEF fellow community. See, and then I'm going to pass it over to James because, fun fact, James was part of the initial and inaugural cohort of the Scholastic Fellow Program.
Thank you for that, Jarrell. And funnily enough, my participation in this program actually predates him joining NASEF. So he's been cultivating this, but when I first signed on to the Fellows Program in 2019, there was a really small group of us that was selected. There's 24 of us here there. If you've been in the esports space for a while, some of these faces you will still recognize and see as leaders in our space. So we started this in 2019 through 2020. And of course, our first fellows year got a little bit interrupted by a worldwide pandemic, but it was still a huge success. And then we moved on to our next year. In 2020, we started expanding a little bit more worldwide. We brought in some folks from South Africa. We got some folks from the UK. And we really started to take this thing from a small US-based entity to a really worldwide community of practice. And if you notice in the chat, there's still a few people that are even mentioning that they're from other countries around the world. There's some folks from other affiliates of IESF and NASEF as well in there. And then if this just keeps going and growing, so this is our group of 2021 to 2022 fellows. Again, if you just take a moment, these people are from everywhere. We also started piloting a mentorship program. So I was part of the fellows program and then moved on to the mentor program. And then we started leveling up some of our former fellows into mentors. Some of these folks have gone on to work in universities. And as you can kind of see, this really does start growing and turning into a worldwide organization. Just a few faces here just to kind of showcase the huge diversity and just the amazing group of people here. Quick, just drop in the chat if there's anybody you see in there you're like, wow, I know this person. Just put who it is and how you know them. I think that'd be a good thing to mention. We are now at so this was our last year's class, and again, if you see, this is going from all the way around the world. We have folks from Australia, South Africa. We had somebody from South Korea. We have some folks from Indonesia. Like, we have people everywhere. And honestly, some of the best part of this is getting to talk to and learn from people with a completely different worldview than yours. And honestly, that's one of the best parts about this, is it's the great unifier. At this point, our community has now grown. We are over 150 educators spanning 22 countries, and we are all working together to bring Scholastic Esports to people and to our kids. Did you want to talk community leaders, or do you want me to
Yeah, I
jump
can
in on
jump
this
in,
one?
and then
Okay.
I'll pass it over to Gian in here in a second.
Mhm.
And so, like we talked about, many of our community leaders are out there. They've done a lot of work already. You may recognize them already. A lot of them are leads of our affiliates. And ultimately, what we're hoping to accomplish is really growing a strong bench of esports educational leaders to really continue to develop all of these programs around the globe. And some of them, as you can see, like James, have also been brought on internally to help support that mission. So I'm going to pass it over to Jihan if you want to talk a little bit about kind of what this virtual and maybe hybrid community of practice looks like.
Yeah, and so one thing that I absolutely love about this program, like many other programs similar, like for instance, if you're an MIE expert, you guys know that PLCs are important. So here, what we do is we have biweekly check-ins. You would check in with James and I just to figure out, hey, get to know us. One of the major things is that we love to get to know. So we want to get to know who you are as a person, what your aspiration, your goals are, how we can help you grow. And then also get to see what your project will be during the year. And so those will help with checking in so that you can understand, just your different metrics that you're trying to reach, as well as then we have our group collaboration meetings. So we have those and we get together. And at the end of the year, we also have a collaboration meeting where we celebrate your end of the year success. But in those meetings, you're in there to talk about, the highs and the lows. We do mental wellness checks on you all as well. So that you all can understand that we are not just here to just push you on a academic thing, but we really care about your mental health and your well-being, as well as having monthly PLC meetings. We want to make sure that you guys are on top, keeping up of where you're at, as well as when we get towards the end, we have our video challenges. And one of the things that I absolutely love is that if we are not meeting, you still have 24-hour access to the fellows and James and I through Discord. So we have a Discord channel and you're able to communicate and contact, ask questions, put memes in the chat room, and just also talk about different conferences you may be presenting at within that. So that's how we have our community of practice. We really want to make sure that we're not just building community and asking for work, but we're really building community to help you build yourselves and fill that bucket on days that sometimes it's just educators may not be a good day. And so we'll go to the next slide. All right, so here goes just a model of the timeline of events. This is tentative. As you all see, you saw the advertisements, applications open. Applications are already open. They close within the next week. And so we want to make sure that we then, after that is done, we go through and we select the different applications. We vet to see who is great for this program. And then we move on to the Scholastic selection. That's when we're selecting, trying to figure out, and then we close it and have a kickoff. So those that have made it through the process, and James and I and Jarrell actually do not go through the applications to figure out who makes it. We actually let our community leaders do that. And so with that process, we're allowed to have a kickoff call. And in September, that's when we welcome. There's not a set date yet, but if you all look towards the right of the screen, it actually gives you an outline of what it looks like through the entire process for the year. When it comes to the previous slide that I just spoke to about the PLC meetings, the Discords, meeting with us, James and I, as your mentors to talk out some of your ideas, as well as just bi-weekly meetings one-on-one, and you can start getting your planning together. So that's kind of what a timeline looks like when it comes to the Fellows program here within NASEF. All right, so pass it to Jarrell.
Yeah, I can take it. And I'll go into kind of some of the specifics as well. So as you all saw with the application process, applications are due this Friday. If you need a little bit of leniency, we may extend it, may not, you may not know. But definitely try to get your applications as soon as you can. The online application really consists of a few key questions regarding what your plans, objectives are for joining the fellow program. We do require a letter of support from your admin. Now, depending on where you're coming from, whether it's a school, a community-based organization, a federation, this quote unquote admin can be a mix of folks. This can be, for example, your principal, your executive director. If you work for a federation, maybe you sit at the leadership level. It would be great to have something from your colleague, but ultimately that letter of support is really to show that you have support from your community to join this program and grow and participate in this program. There is a video that you'll need to submit, and this video is really for us to get to know you, as well as really helping the selection committee see who you are and what it is that you want to do with the community. There may be a virtual interview. This typically depends on how many applications we receive, but we'll reach out to you if that is the case. There are some program benefits, obviously. I'll actually let James speak to some of this, and then we'll pass it over in a second here.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things that I found just in doing this, and I was a middle school teacher up until 2 years ago. I've put on the programs, and one of the things that I really love is just getting to hear from the people that are in here. So being a part of this professional learning community, having the opportunity to meet people and hear their struggles, their challenges. We've gotten so many good ideas for just what we're doing in our classrooms or in our clubs, just from hearing what other people have done and what they've struggled with. So we've got Discord communities. We've got times to chat with each other. You can collaborate with another person on a project. If you need help with our curriculum implementation or support, we can pair you up with mentors or coaches or people that are in the area near you that can really support what you're doing. And then one of the things that I love is getting an opportunity to contribute to that community library. I've showcased this at every single conference and presentation, and honestly, every meeting I'm in. The fact that there is a library of content available from teachers for teachers and that has been vetted and tested is really a huge add, and you can be a part of that. If you're looking at growing your club and your community, you can also get support doing that. And then honestly, our fellows and mentors get asked to present at conferences all the time. We often have fellows panels that we like submit for and say, hey, we'd like to do a fellows panel. And then we look around and see that, oh, this fellow's close by. They've been doing great things. Let's invite them on. So it's really an opportunity to showcase you and your work. Go ahead. It does come with some responsibilities, and it sounds like a lot, but honestly, it's broken up over the entire school year and you get so much out of it. So first thing, register for NASEF, be an active promoter of what we're doing and supporting our work. Work to integrate our scholastic and academic framework, whether that's within your club, your district, your program, whatever you're developing. Be a part of our community, like come to our kickoff calls, attend our PLC meetings. We really do try to make sure that there's at least one call that will work for everybody's times. You can share videos of what you're doing, collaborate. Some of the best success stories that I've heard is going to talk to a fellow and be like, oh yeah, I've been collaborating with so-and-so mentor this whole time. And then also, being an ambassador to this. If there's a conference nearby and you're interested in support, we can provide that support. If it's a part of a conversation that's with the people putting it on, or even just helping you with the slide deck or your presentation of what you're talking about, being a part of this and an ambassador for the space is really, really what it's all about. So there are some shared commitments that all of our fellows will be working with. There are a few major milestones. They're broken up into two big milestones. You've got an implementation plan, which is what am I doing? And then your capstone project, which is this is what I've done. And then there's a little bit of video submissions to go with each one of those. Every month, we do ask that you attend one of the professional learning community calls. Again, we understand that things happen, but please make every effort to be there to as many as you can. And then schedule bi-weekly check-ins. Jihan and I both have calendars that we've structured out that's like, hey, I need to get on a call. I need to talk, jump in. and check with us. And then we do a weekly chat in our Fellows Discord server. Sometimes we'll ask a question. Sometimes it'll be something that's happening in the space. Sometimes it'll be to share your favorite esports related meme. Again, that was one of my favorite days. And then there's also some events that are like kind of one-time events. We do an end of the year celebration after the whole program's done in June. We have our esports summit, which happens in Atlanta in October. It's a great opportunity for us to kind of all come together, meet up. Again, it's not required that you attend because we understand not everybody can get there. But if you can make it, it's a great opportunity and one of the things that would be awesome to have you at. And yeah, the total approximate time, about 100 to 200 hours across a whole year. Sounds like a lot more than it is, but you really do get to put a ton of stuff out there and get a lot out of it. And again, if you think back to those faces that you've seen, some of those people are leaders in the esports space. Many of them have put in the time and put in the hours, and that's what got them to where they are today.
Great, thanks, James. So I'll high level talk about our milestones, and then I'll have Jihan kind of talk through kind of some of the resources that you have available. So you'll see here that just like James said, there are 2 major milestones, and we do provide resources to help support the development and the design of all of these things. That first milestone is really about, just like James said, your implementation plan, right? Coming up with a strategic roadmap and essentially a framework for how you want to accomplish the goals and objectives for your community. Now, we've broadened this early on in the first years of the program. The emphasis and the focus was really primarily on developing curricula or a curriculum module for your classroom. As the program has grown, we've seen more and more unique implementations, both in the classroom, outside the classroom, at a district level, at a state level, at a countrywide level, right? So we've really seen all the types of projects that folks are interested in implementing, which are aligned to the idea of really creating these unique, again, pathways through gaming and esports. So that plan is really important because that helps not just our instructional coaches like Jihan and James, not just the mentors, but it also can be leveraged as a resource for you all when you're communicating your plans to other stakeholders and administrators. So this is really important, and this is how we kind of anchor in what it is that you want to accomplish through the course of the 9 months that you're participating. And then in May, the capstone project, this can be either a review, reflection of what it is that you've accomplished throughout the year, but it can also be a broad opportunity, given that you do have access to all these folks around the globe, to really engage in a unique and collaborative project that really helps support not just esports and gaming, but potentially things like intercultural exchange, either supporting health and wellness, right? This can be anything that you're really interested in and passionate about and growing. And obviously with the support of both NASEF as well as the broader fellows community, you'll be able to accomplish that at a much deeper level. So over to Jihan to kind of talk about some of the resources that we have available for you.
All right, so we as educators have a favorite word. That favorite word is free. And so here at NASEF, one of the things that we want to make sure is that we provide equitable access for all. And so here on our website on nasef.org, we actually have free curriculum, but we have a community library. And in that, you must first register. It takes about a minute or two for you to register. And then once you register, you then get access to what you see now on the screen. So here we wanted to make sure everybody can have access to curriculum, whether it be in general education, as we're looking at ELA, and it be state approved, while we're looking at CTE. If you're a middle school teacher out of school time, which sometimes we call aftercare, our community library that just has a plethora of different curriculum within there from our former fellows, as well as health and wellness learning. And within ELA, you have a 4-year high school track. CTE, you have 8 sectors, 15 pathways. It is also high school state approved and aligned. You have middle school and community-based organizations where you have career exploration. You have a 5-week summer program, which is the model is based off our esports ecosystem that you will see everywhere. And then you have the community library, which is designed by the educators. Here in this community library, this is a visual of what you can see in different categories, from elementary school, middle school, high school, neurodivergent special education, out of school, community-based, collegiate, university, or district-wide global implementation. So anything that you may have a subject matter and wanting to search deeply and take a deep dive on, it's possible that is in our library. And once again, all you have to do is go on the NASEF website, register in the top corner to join NASEF, and then you'll have access, because we want to make sure that equitable resources is available to all. And so that's what also makes us and sets us apart within our organization compared to others as well.
And so like I shared earlier, right, the capstone project can be really anything that you can dream of. It can be as small or as large as you'd like. So what we'll do is we'll share a few examples of some of the innovative and even global projects that some of the fellows have accomplished. So I'll pass it back over to Gian real quick.
All right, so this is a prime example. We have UK versus the US, where they are doing world peace through play. And through this, we had 2 fellows come together, and I really like the cultural connection that our fellows bring. They were able to just have, if you remember, and maybe I'm showing my age, but the pen pal days, where we had different people and we would reach out to different people all over the globe and write letters. Now we can do it through gaming. And so this is just a prime example of them playing Rocket League and be able to build that cultural experience, as well as using through the implementation of gaming. So that's one example. This is another example of where we had Mexico and America get together, San Diego. And they were able to just sit there and understand, again, world peace through collaboration of an international game night. So I really, really push this, because we are living in a world where we must learn and understand the importance of connection and connection through play. And so this is a prime example of how you do that. Innovative and exciting capstones. We have adaptability, which I absolutely love, that helps connect and speak to those neurodivergent communities. We have communication. How do we actually communicate with our players? How do we, and even as educators, some may not even know how to do the game, but how do I have that proper communication so we have clear connection? As well as healthy and safe tips. This can be where it's implemented in your own health individual needs. You can have a bit plan where you can implement some types of uses of gaming to help provide that goal in that bit plan, as well as mobility needs. So that's fun and exciting ways of how you can use this program to implement it within there. And then you guys may have seen it if you're here in the States, the big battle of the boroughs. Let me tell you, this is an exciting competition through the New York Department of Education, as well as the Mayor's Office, Arts and Entertainment, where they're using Minecraft to actually build competitions, build around the different boroughs within the communities, get students to be able to connect digitally through gameplay, as well as go to the mayor's office where they have their end of the year season competition and championship, and also teach them about the different career paths. They have different panels. And they're also able to just have students leave their borough and come to a place that they may have not been to. Believe it or not, some kids in the city of New York may have not been to the actual city and just stay in their borough. So it's really showing the importance of building community. That's why it's Battles of the Borough. I have been able to participate in it. It's actually overwhelming and it's a lot of fun, but it actually shows the importance of gameplay through education. And one of the reasons why we have had them as our fellows here. All right, so our conference presentation, I'm gonna kick that over to Jarrell so he could talk a little bit more about the different conferences and presentations that we have available here at NASEF.
Sure, thanks, Jihan. I love all those projects. Again, it really showcases the opportunity that you all will have in really collaborating globally, or however big you want to take it. And as part of that, we really want to provide opportunities for all of our fellows, mentors, and community leaders really to showcase everything that you've accomplished. And so we encourage you to present at least one conference or 2 conferences, right? But then we know some of you are really about that life and interested in showcasing all the time. So as many conferences as you'd like to present, And what we'll do is really support you either in the conference applications, right? We have conferences that we can plug you into as well. We typically do that on an annual basis. But then we also have various resources that can help support you in developing that conference presentation as well. And then obviously we can encourage you to collaborate with other fellows and mentors when you're going out there and really sharing with the world everything that you've accomplished for young people in your community. And then these are just some examples, right? One of the other opportunities that we like to do is really give you a space to publish some of the work that you're doing. We have strong relationships with various publication portals such as Tech and Learning, District Administration, eSchool News. But then there's also opportunities for organic publishing. For example, you noticed Dr. Miles Harvey in that other slide. He worked on a full-on journal research kind of compilation, and many of the fellows during that year actually contributed to this published academic journal as well. Some other examples, many of our fellows maybe write books, right? So there's opportunities to collaborate on books and other kind of different organic opportunities as well. And then obviously on the presentation side, right? Presentation and publication, there's a lot that can be done there. And so these are just some examples of some of the conferences. And then I'll actually pass it over to James because you can see here, one of his articles was published in eSchool News.
Yeah, so this is one of the things that people are kind of really like not sure of is, can I actually like write something like this? Some of these organizations like eSchool News, this was one of those articles that I did an interview with them and we talked at length for about an hour. We came up with some notes, some talking points, and we drafted it and then we edited it back and forth. So it was really a collaborative endeavor. And this is something that we've gotten to do a few different times, either just an interview, a short article about something. This particular one was really meaningful for me because we were located in Paradise, California in the fall of 2018. And if you know the name Paradise, California, it's because it was the scene of the Camp Fire. And I was teaching at a high school there. We spun up an esports program. And honestly, we were, I think, one of the first clubs that activated as part of an affiliate group within NASEF itself. And then after we lost the high school, the kids were all asking about esports. So this was kind of me getting to tell that story. And it was really a good opportunity just to kind of share something that was really meaningful to me and my students. They loved getting to see it there. The school loved getting to see it. And it really is just a great way to kind of get word out there about what you're doing.
Thanks, James. And obviously you can see these are a little bit old, but we have a whole list that we'll probably bombard you with in terms of conferences that we typically attend and present at. And then obviously, like we shared earlier, the big event that's upcoming is in October, which is Games Week Georgia, which is where we host our esports summit. We'll definitely send out information. Keep on the lookout for that. We encourage you to attend, whether or not you join in on this program, because that's really our global community coming together in the same space, IRL. Definitely encourage you to check that out. All right, so that was a lot of information. Obviously, if you are interested, and I know many of you are, please go to that link on the website. I think someone dropped it in the chat. Someone else wants to drop that link again. The application is available on the website. You can either click that top button that says apply to be a Scholastic Fellow, or if you scroll down a little bit, you'll also see kind of two links at the bottom. One actually linking you to the PDF application packet, which is basically describing everything we've shared with you today here in much more detail. As well as the application questions are there. And then obviously when you're ready to apply, you just click that apply to be a Scholastic Fellow button and submit it. So please, we encourage you to submit by this Friday. Like we shared earlier, we're alluding to potentially an extended deadline, but we encourage you to get those in as soon as you can. All right, that was a lot of information. We appreciate you all tuning in.